Okay, this is 5.6b, and continuing on with annuities. And we're going to go to home mortgages. We're in example 4. We're using the same formula here that we started using for present value of an ordinary annuity. And we're going to talk about a house. All right, so let's have this couple in example 4. They have $30,000 for a down payment. They've been saving their pennies for a long time. They have $30,000. And they want to have monthly payments of $2,200. Okay, that's the max they can afford. Okay, so usually when somebody wants to know if they can afford a house or not, they're looking primarily at, can I afford the monthly payment? So this couple says, I can afford $2,200. Okay, the interest rate for a 25-year mortgage is 6%, which is very high in these times. What is the price of a house they can buy? Okay, so what they're doing is what most of us do. We say, this is how much money I can put down. This is how much money I can pay a year. We're looking at a 25-year loan at 6%. How much money can I pay for a house? Okay, because when you look at a house, it doesn't say, oh, this house is only $2,200 a month. It says this house is $400,000 or $300,000 or whatever, and you have to figure out what your monthly payment is. So this is how you do it. You use this formula right here, and let's start plugging some numbers in. Okay, so first of all, our N that we have up here is based on how many months we're looking at. So we're looking at 12, let me get blue here, 12 months times 25 years gives me 300 months. Okay, so that's my N. My R is going to be what I can afford to pay a month, $2,200. My interest rate is 6%, but that 6%, we are looking at monthly payments. So we're not interested in 6% per year. We're looking at what the percentage is a month. So I'm going to divide that by 12. So 6% divided by 12, or 0.06 divided by 12 is 0.005. So that is going to be my interest rate. All right, so let's start filling in variables here. So A is going to be 2,200, 1 minus 1 plus 0.005 to the negative 300 power, and that is over the interest rate. Okay, so again, we're going to take 1 plus 0.005 and we're going to take that to the negative 300 power. Okay, let me get my calculator out and figure out what that would be. 1.005, and again I'm hitting the, it's that button. Sometimes I put X to the Y, Y to the X. Anyway, it's that button to the 300, and we get for this we get 1 minus 0.2240 over 0.005. So subtract those, divide by that, multiply by that, and you end up getting 341,455.10. That's how much money you're going to borrow, so that your payment is $2,200 a month. But remember, you have decided that you can put this much as a down payment. So this is how much money you can afford to borrow. This is how much money you already have. So add these two together, and that will tell you how much house you can afford. So $371,455.10. All right, so let's look for a minute at loan repayment, which is a little bit different than the mortgage. When you borrow money, you need to not only repay the total amount that you borrowed, but also the interest. You're paying the bank money for loaning you money. Okay? So, loans are paid off, usually monthly, by partial payments, and they charge you interest on the unpaid balance at the end of each period. All right, and that is the annual rate. Okay, so there's two popular repayment plans. One is that your amount you pay every month is different. The kind that you're used to paying is the loan is paid back by every month, the loan payment being equal sizes, and that's usually what we have. Okay, so you buy a car for $40,000, and your loan payment is $600 a month. It isn't going to change from month to month, and that makes it so you can budget and things work easier for you. All right, so here is the formula for that. Just write this out. That's I over a big denominator. Notice it's the other formula basically upside down. Okay, and these two are switched around. Okay, it's about the only difference there. All right, so A is the debt. That's how much money you borrowed. I is the interest rate per period. N is the number of payments that you'll make. And there's the formula. So let's just kind of look real quickly at a loan of $240,000. And we're talking about 10 years or 120 months, which is what you're looking at. That's our N, is the months. And let's see, the interest rate is 12%. Okay, and we're interested again in per month, so 0.12 divided by 12 is 0.01 is going to be our I. And you're going to put those numbers in here, and you're going to solve it. Your 240,000s for A, your 0.01 is your I, and your N is 120, so negative 120, and you get your answer. Okay, so last example, and we'll go through this one completely using this formula I have right here. Let's see if I can erase some of this. Not letting me. Okay, so let's leave the formula there, and let's look at a home mortgage. Now, we did look at a mortgage a little bit ago to find out how much money we could borrow in order to have a monthly payment of $2,200. Okay, so this time I'm telling you how much the house is, and I want to find out what the monthly payment will be. Okay, so let's use this formula. And again, this is finding the monthly payment. The other one was finding out how much house you could afford. And the way you can do that is look at where your A and your R are at. Okay, the R is going to be what your monthly payment is. The A is going to be how much you have to borrow. Okay, so if we were to switch those around and A was out here, that would be finding out how much we had to borrow, knowing what we wanted to pay for a monthly payment. Okay, so that's what the main thing that's different. All right, so in this one, example 5, we've got a house with a price tag of $230,000. All right, this couple has $50,000 for a down payment. And they're looking at a 25-year mortgage, which is 25 years is 300 months with 9%, which is going to be 0.09 divided by 12, because again we're talking about months. All right, so let's put in the numbers. That's how much that's how much we want to spend on a house. We're putting $50,000 down. So that means that my A value is 180,000. That's how much I'm borrowing. I don't need the whole 230,000. Okay, so my interest rate is going to be 0.0075 once I divide that out. And that's going to be over 1 minus 1 plus 0.0075. And how many months? We've got 300 months. Okay, so nothing really crazy about doing this. The only difference is using this formula, we're finding out how much the monthly payment is. Using the other formula, where A equals, we are finding out how much the house costs. Okay, we know how much the house costs. We don't have to do that. All right, so A wanted to find out what the monthly payment is. When we put all the numbers in there, we find out that the monthly payment is very close to 1510.553. That's pretty close. All right, B says, what is the total amount they will pay before they own the house outright? So we paid $50,000 down, so we're going to have to take that. That's how much we paid. And then we take our monthly payment that we found in A and we multiply it by 300 payments. And that will tell us how much money we actually put out for the house. Okay, notice that's how much we paid for a $230,000 house, because the amount of interest is added to that unpaid balance, and that's what ends up killing you when you buy a house. You usually plan on doubling at least the amount that you pay for, or that you bought the house for, by the time you pay the bank interest. That's why the bank likes to loan you money. They make a lot of money off of you. In this particular one, they made almost $300,000 off of you by loaning you the money to buy that house. C, how much interest are you going to pay on this house? How much money are you throwing away, basically, to the bank so that they can build their bigger buildings? Well, you just paid $503,168. The house was $230,000. So actually, $273,168 is money that you gave to the bank so that they would loan you $230,000. Okay? So they make a lot of money off of loaning money for houses. Okay? They're not doing you any favors. So that is it for 5.6, and good luck on these. They're not too bad. It's just plugging numbers into these. Looks like complicated formulas, but they're really pretty easy. You just put the numbers in and do the math, and you're good to go.